Welcome to Apple Addiction. MacBooks are one of the most popular products of the Apple, and the most demanding MacBook series is the MacBook Air series. Apple releases a new version of each product every year to maintain its market. The time for the launch of Apple 21 products is near, and everyone is waiting to see the change that Apple brings in its new generation of products. MacBook Air is also one of the most awaiting products from the Apple, but the new MacBook Air is to be released in the mid of year 2022. Let's see what we can expect from the upcoming generation of the MacBook Air. A complete new design. Since the Apple MacBook hit the market, we have seen a lot of upgrades in its design, features, and performance. In this upcoming MacBook Air, we are expecting a complete new design. The expected new design will be slimmer, compact, and sleek, along with the flat-edged, like the iPad Pro, which will make the MacBook Air lightweight and easy to carry like its name. I would appreciate more ports on the new MacBook Air too. Reducing the bezels further shouldn't be a big deal for the Apple now, since they launched the flat-edge iPhone 12. We get Apple is keen to stick with the all-USB-C approach, but double the number of ports to 4 and throw in an SD card reader, and we reckon Cupertino would put a smile on a good few people's faces. Unlike other companies, Apple is stuck to only 2 colors for MacBook that are silver and space gray, since they launched the Air series of the MacBook. Since the Microsoft Surface is allowing a different combination of colors, we are seeing no reason left for the Apple not to launch new colors for the upcoming new series of the MacBook Air. With its new colors in town, MacBook Air will attract more audience in order to increase the market of the MacBook Air. Most notably, we'd like to see Apple trim down the display bezels. For reasons we can't discern, they remain rather thick. Very thick compared to some Windows 10 laptops, like the aforementioned XPS 13, and make the laptop look dated. We're not saying Apple needs to rip off the Dell's Infinity Edge display, but slimmer bezels and a more favorable screen-to-body ratio would be a major tick in one of our boxes. An improved display, Retina. The display of the previous Air series is fine, but it's not much brighter like that of the MacBook Pro. In order to enable the more display features, Apple should reduce the bezels as much as it can. The 13-inch screen size for the MacBook Air is fine, but I believe that by reducing the bezels, Apple can fit 14 inches of screen into a 13-inch chassis. The brightness should be upgraded to 1000 nits instead of 500 nits in order to improve the details of the display, and it will also enable the users to view the HDR10 content. A higher refresh rate will improve the smoothness of the display, and it will make the gaming experience even better. A 120Hz display will make the animation smoother and faster access to something. Ming-Chi Kuo, via Mac Rumors, has said that the new MacBooks Apple has in the works will feature mini LED displays. These would bring more balanced contrast to colors and lighting, brighter panels, and should prove more energy efficient, so a better looking screen and a longer battery life. That's something we'd all like to see in a laptop. It could be that mini LED arrives first in the heavily anticipated 14-inch MacBook Pro, but with the current estimates having that device launching at the end of 2021 or early 2022, it could be that Apple updates its MacBook range to mini LED all in one go. Apple M2 Chipset and upgraded RAM. Apple is launching the M1X chipset, as it is saved for the MacBook Pro series. Apple MacBook Air new generation will run on the M2 chipset that is faster and smaller in size. This is a strong chip, capable of running heavy hardware, and it also supports playing heavy games on it. The Apple M2 chip has been touted for the new MacBook Air, while the next-gen MacBook Pro is slated to get a more powerful M1X chip. The MacBook Air's second-generation slice of Apple silicon is expected to be more about efficiency than raw power. The 2020 MacBook Air was one of the first devices to be powered by the M1 chip, Apple's first laptop processor designed in-house. The M1 is widely expected to be updated in 2021, although a tweet from prolific leaker Dylan suggests this will be the M1X and exclusive to Pro-branded devices. He goes on to say that the next MacBook Air will launch in 2022 alongside an all-new M2 chip. However, details about what this new processor will bring to the table are relatively thin on the ground. Early indications suggest it'll be similar to the A15 chipset for the iPhone 13 and deliver more wholesale changes than the iterative M1X. But that's about all we know for now. Given the MacBook Air is more aimed at general computing than heavy workloads, we feel targeting efficiency is a good idea. If you can yield a chip that only sips power when it's doing simple tasks, then we could see a MacBook Air's battery last a whole working day and beyond. That would be something handy for folks who often work out away from a power source. But where Apple could boost overall power is with the amount of RAM it gives the next MacBook Air by default. Well, you can get a MacBook Air M1 with 16GB of RAM, but it's a pricey upgrade over the default 8GB. However, if you're someone who has a lot of apps open or browser tabs, especially with Chrome, 8GB isn't a huge amount. So we'd like to see the default option set to 16GB, because 16GB RAM is suitable for the current usage of software and other tasks. Return of MagSafe. In 2016, with the introduction of the USB-C MacBook Pro models, Apple began discontinuing MagSafe, and the last machine with MagSafe, the 2017 MacBook Air, was discontinued by Apple in July 2019. The switch back to MagSafe is likely to be popular with MacBook owners who have missed the feature. The MacBook Air is not the only Mac rumored to be restoring MagSafe charging. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo said in a recent report, which outlined many of the changes coming to the new high-end Mac laptops, that the MagSafe charging connector design is restored on the upcoming MacBook Pro models. This has been corroborated by Gurman, who explained that the restored MagSafe charging will include a similar design to the previous incarnation of MagSafe on MacBooks. The return of MagSafe may deliver a number of practical benefits, such as faster charging speeds, according to Gurman. The presence of the connector would also restore its original main selling point, which was easy connection and disconnection using magnets. MagSafe was not only a neat way to connect a charging cable to older generation MacBook Airs when compared to the USB-C charging they currently have. It also meant that if you hit or tripped on the charging cable, there was far less of a chance of setting the Air flying off a table and onto the ground. Granted, we wouldn't expect to see Apple bring back a dedicated MagSafe charging port, but we're sure the engineers at Cupertino could find a way of integrating it into a USB-C port. New MacBook Air keyboard. We can't deny Apple's move in late 2019 to ditch the controversial butterfly mechanism keyboard MacBook sported for nearly 5 years was a smart move. But the return of the scissor key mechanism arguably didn't hit the high points of the original tactile keyboard found on pre-2015 MacBooks. So, with the next MacBook Air, we'd like to see Apple improve the keyboard, specifically the tactile typing experience. More travel, say 1.5mm and a snappy response along the lines of that delivered by the Surface Laptop or Dell XPS 13 would be ideal. Of course, Apple could go to the other extreme and draw upon one of its patents to make a virtual keyboard. That would get our attention, but perhaps wouldn't yield the most practical of typing experiences. So we'd settle on an overall improved and refined keyboard. Price. Price has always been a topic of discussion for Apple products. As Apple is improving the features and performance of its devices, the price is also getting higher and higher. Now, the price of this MacBook is a big question mark for everyone. To have a brief idea about the price, let's see what analysts and leaks highlight about the price of MacBook Air 2021. According to the Bloomberg report, this new laptop will be positioned as a higher-end version of the current MacBook Air, with the current models remaining on sale. The current MacBook Air is priced as follows: M1 MacBook Air 8-core CPU, 7-core GPU, 250GB SSD, £999 or $999. M1 MacBook Air 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, 512GB SSD, £1,249 or $1,249. Should the new model come in at the top of the range, we would expect Apple to drop the price of the current models, which could mean that the entry-level MacBook Air sees a price drop to £899 or $899, while the new model, with its new design, comes in at £1,349 or $1,349. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.